All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Wilson Live, episode 2. I'm Wilson County Schools Public Information Officer Bart Barker, joined alongside Carter Noblin. He is our coordinator of fine arts in the district. And hey, it's Wilson Live, hosted by one B and a C. Glad you're with us, and glad you can able to digest roughly the next 30 minutes. And we have a very special guest today, Carter.
Yeah,
extremely special.
We knew from the start that we needed to get some important people in here pretty quick. And so we knew what better way to start us off than bringing in Director of Schools, Mr. Jeff Luttrell.
Batting leadoff is Mr. Jeff Luttrell. Bring him up on screen there. Mr. Luttrell, thank you so much. He is your Director of Schools, and we know we get a lot of new families to the district. Maybe you haven't had a chance to watch a board meeting or see him out in the community. He's always out in the community, but he is your Director of Schools. And Mr. Luttrell, remind me again, is it year 4? Is it? It's
year 5.
Year five. So let's get into it. And year 5, we are starting a brand new school year. It came quick, didn't it?
It sure did.
They always do, don't they?
That's right. Yep.
Talk quickly about, for those who aren't familiar with Mr. Luttrell, many in the community are, because he's been around for quite a while. He's been a lifelong administrator, teacher, a lot of that in the Watertown area. Spent some time in Trousdale County at an early portion of his career, but his career actually began here in Wilson. Or did you did some student teaching here?
I did
in Wilson County. So very familiar. He's been around a long, long time. He's one of those staples throughout Wilson County, and has a long knowing and history of the fabric of the Wilson County, the environment, and so many of its people. Talk about your career path a little bit. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, you look back, this is, I guess, year 32, so I have had some of those moments in recent weeks of thinking about that career path. And, I came to Cumberland University from Kentucky to really play baseball for Woody Hunt, and ended up staying here, went to work at Trousdale County, teaching junior high and high school and coaching, and spent 6 years there. And then during that time, I married a Watertown girl, and she was not leaving Watertown.
So you're part of your career path was already planned out, right?
It was planned out, and so I came to Watertown and taught and coached, and then became the principal there, and then came to ATC several years ago to work in HR for a couple of years, and then became the Director of Schools. And I really think now, where'd that 32 years go? It's went by just like that, but I've been blessed, and I've had a great career. I'm having a great career, but just excited. Wilson County is really kind of Wilson County Schools. I tell people that I'm a product of Wilson County Schools, from the professional side and the teaching and learning and the administrative side, and they gave me opportunities in leadership and really taught me and brought me along, and so I'm very thankful for that.
Well, Carter, he mentioned about his athletic background, recently named to the Adair County Athletic Hall of Fame. People not familiar where Adair County, Kentucky is, just put a pin in the center of Kentucky, and you're just about there. Would you say about 90 minutes northeast of Bowling Green, somewhere about an hour northeast of Bowling Green, somewhere in there?
Like that. Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Well, it is, that happened. That's been in the works for a few weeks here this summer, and they contacted me. I've had a lot of people reach out and congratulate me, but then it hit me a little bit that it just means you're getting old. When they start when that becomes your accolades, that I've aged.
When you start being inducted into Hall of Fames, they start naming streets after you, or naming gymnasiums after you. It's you're getting elder in your years, but. Folks, he is actually he says he's getting older, but I think he's still young at heart in a lot of ways. This job is not easy, and I think all of you know that. Mr. Luttrell, he conducts board meetings, goes before county commission. Any district, no matter where you go, Carter, you would agree. There's a wish list of things you want to provide for students and families. They can be met, they can be not met, but it's a collaborative effort with community leaders, for sure.
It is, and that's what I think makes our district a really good district, is we have community support. We've had that for a long time. It's not anything that I've brought. I'm just trying to continue what has been established for years within our communities in Wilson County, and that is an expectation that we want excellent schools. We want opportunities for our students beyond just the the basic education system. And so it is a tough job. And as we grow, that brings in more, I call them opportunities. They're not challenges, they're opportunities. And so that's a big part of what we're doing. It takes a team effort. I cannot do this job alone. I'm blessed with the team that we have and has been put in place, and there's some great things going on and will continue to go on because we have that belief that we want to provide our kids an opportunity.
Well, and you talk a little bit about that team. That team isn't completely made of people that are in the spotlight all the time. That's been one of the things that I've learned just in the last 9 months is how the size of this district is large. The support that it takes in this building is huge, and there's a huge cast of people that it takes to make all of this happen at a high level. And I've been really fortunate to be able to work alongside and figure out what some of that looks like because it's pretty impressive.
It is, and that's a side, like you said, that they're kind of in the background, and everybody thinks, everybody wonders what goes on at ATC. I used to be that person, even at a principal's level. What are they doing there? Well, when you see the inner workings on a daily basis, you get appreciation for all the different departments, all the different areas, and it takes a lot of people. Because make no mistake, the opportunities that we provide in our school system requires a lot of background work to do it right. And so we're fortunate, and like I said, we're a blessed county. Of course, we have the tax base, we have the industry, the economy. All of it fits like a glove, hand in hand. And we're fortunate to have these people, because if we did not have these people in place, we would not be near as strong a school district.
Yeah, it's a great time to be in Wilson County.
It's correct.
It really is. The fair is coming up. I know that's also, talk about a staple. What started as a large fair is now the largest fair, and now is the state fair. So again, fair time is a great time. It's not always the best time for our teachers. I think they would argue in terms of the distractions that come along with that. But the big part is a lot of our students are involved in the fair and do a lot of competitions and a lot of different things. It's that highlight piece outside of our schools that really shows a lot of our students' talents, for sure.
It does. And our students have been a part of that fair for a long time. A lot of them volunteer.
Yeah,
they're part of that crew that volunteers.
Staff volunteer, yes, yeah.
And then the competitions are going to be in, and it's just an exciting. I think that's several days. It used to be a week, and
right.
We are, but that's become a staple of Wilson County, and not only statewide, but this is even a nationally recognized fair.
Absolutely,
and it's a great event, and we participate as much as we can with our students, and even be providing some buses for transportation, off-site transportation to manage the crowd. But it's a big part of an annual event that goes on in Wilson County that really is part of Wilson County.
With the start of a new school year comes challenges. This is my 6th year. My background is largely in broadcast news and coming from that world. And they said, go work in public education, they said. And within the first 9 months of my job here came 2 tornadoes, 2 destroyed schools, the COVID outbreak, and all of that came with it, that time, that era. Challenges are just part of what we face every day. There's a lot behind the scenes. Now that we've gotten those schools back online and we've moved past the COVID era as in earnest as it was back in 2020 and early 2021, we opened a brand new school. There was a lot of public talk about sewer concerns at Lagardo Elementary, a temporary pump and haul system in place. Give folks an update as what you know at this point. Everything has been going smooth with that system thus far.
It has, and that whole situation, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago now, I guess, we purchased the land, and that was a part of that purchase, was finding a site that could handle the sewer, and so where we're at today, there's been a lot go on with that. TDEC has, and basically TDEC and Wilson Water and the contractor Medina's who manages those systems. There's some discrepancies about getting the subdivisions where our system would be feeding under this plan, getting them up to compliance. Our plan is fine,
Right.
and we feel very comfortable that our soils are there. We'll have no trouble whatsoever. So, and I can tell you that there is some things going on that is taking place to get those subdivisions in compliance with TDEC and their rules. And once that happens, then I think there's a really strong possibility here in a few days that once that work is done, then we can be added to that permanent operating permit. It's just going to take some time, and but it's been very smooth. The pumping hall, that happens more than people realize. And
happened in our district before with Springdale momentarily.
It did momentarily, and so that's the phase we're in, and we're working, of course, daily on that to make sure that we get a permanent solution as soon as possible.
The best guide, I think, Mr. Luttrell, myself, and Carter, he's kept up with things involving that as well, is stay in tune to our Board of Education meetings. There will be more public talks about that as we move along. To keep everyone up to date. Again, in the director's report, I made this mention last week on our social media. Lots of great updates are always in the director's report, so highly encourage you to check that out in our Board of Education meetings as well. Carter, do you have anything to add on that?
No, I think just as I'm not very connected. I'm in the building and I hear conversation from time to time, but there's progress. We're constantly moving forward. There's people actively working on all of this. It's not like something that we're just passively standing by and allowing it to happen.
Oh, no. And it has consumed a lot of time in the last month or so. But I do believe that there's going to be a permanent solution. Now what I'm trying to push is to make that as soon as possible, to get us off of that pumping hall. And I think but you're right. There is a lot of daily activities going on with various groups that are involved to ensure that we get that solution as soon as possible.
An issue I do want to touch on because we've had a lot of messages about it, and just know that, and there was some talk about it at the last Board of Education meeting as well, is new app technology involving our bus tracking called Stop Finder. And Mr. Luttrell, I think anytime you move into a new technical piece, you first off, let me backtrack a little bit. 3 or 4 years ago, let's say 3 years ago, there was no bus tracking app or technology to assist families on where the whereabouts of their child's bus. But the district knew that was important to incorporate. So getting that off the ground a few years ago, and overall it went well. This year we have the app called Stop Finder, and it has caused some frustration in getting that off the ground from people needing specific links to access that and different things. I'll just regurgitate what our transportation director shared at our last Board of Education meeting. There's a lot of behind the scenes work. And I think, Mr. Luttrell, you would say in all your years of experience, getting a school year off smoothly, no matter how much preparation you do in the background, the influx of newer families, the growth that you face, there's always going to be hurdles. There's going to be challenges. And we must meet those head on. But I think that's kind of part of what's caused some frustration because we have new families adding ridership, new students being registered. So it's kind of we're doing the best we can to get through this issue. I think it's smoothed out more and more as the days have gone along. But just speak to the fact of, if we had a magic wand to make every school year start as smooth as possible, we would. But there's going to be challenges.
There is, and besides the transportation issue this year, I think we eliminated some of our other challenges we've experienced. And you're right, it's an area we've got to continue to get better in, and I think it's a communication piece. In May, very few families are thinking about August 1.
Right.
June, July, people's doing what families do. They're enjoying their summer. And so we've got to find a way to get almost a permanent communication line. One of the challenges with that, though, is due to our growth. it looks like we're going to transport about 12,000 students. And of all the things that's on my mind daily, that to and from school time is very, very important for safety purposes. So what we're experiencing as our ridership almost changes with growth, it is continuous routing that has to take place. And, we're going to have to look at maybe even growing that department to better handle that. I don't know at what point we do that, but that is in my mind and has come to the forefront of something we're going to have to look at. But it has gotten better. I'm checking that daily with Mr. Hardaway in the transportation department, and we're just going to continue working as fast as we can, but basically making 12,000 contacts maybe 2 or 3 times within a month period to get that routing right has been a challenge, and I'll own that. We've got to get better in that area, and I think it is going to come back to some stability. We've got to decide what communication piece are we going to use. If this is the app we're going to stay with,
right?
Obviously, as we use it more and more, we'll get better at it. And so, but I appreciate our transportation department, the work they do daily, but also preparing to start that school year is just unbelievable. And we've had some driver shortages and in the past, and that's caused us some problems with providing transportation. That is better than it's been. We still have some issues. We're still hiring some drivers, but we have more drivers, and we've got a lot of great dedicated bus drivers that really, again, there's about a 4-hour period of the day where I realize, and I think a lot of people realize, is very crucial in the safety of our children is when they're on that bus.
And shameless plug. Well, anytime I get an opportunity to say this, I will. So I'll do it again. If you are interested in being a bus driver at all, I think the thing is there can be a stigma about the responsibilities that come with that. But I will tell you this, and I think Mr. Luttrell will back me up on this, and I think Carter, as you being a former educator as well, anytime I come across a bus driver and we talk about, their jobs and different things, one thing they talk about, this has been said a couple of times. Something that some have said that's something they never thought they would do, but once they got into it, it opened their eyes to so many things that were good things. And these students mean the absolute world to them, and these relationships that are formed, it's just incredible. And it's just, I hear story after story about that.
And it's a unique opportunity for a bus driver to be able to interact with those students every day.
Yes.
That they're seeing them at their home.
Yes.
In all of that glory, and they're getting to take them to school. The kids go to school, and then they're that face that they see as soon as they get on the bus at the end of the school day.
And it goes beyond that. You take the bus drivers that do the extra work, providing all of our trips, our field trips, our sports teams, our band competitions, our cheerleading competitions, and they really get involved and become these students' biggest fan. In everything they're doing. And so there's a lot of great things with that. And again, and Bart, I'll echo, we love our bus drivers, and we encourage anyone we've got a job. It can be part-time. It can be a few hours a day. There's a place for you in Wilson County bus transportation.
Fun fact, did you know that on average, each calendar year, because I think it's a calendar year that they do this, 2.7 million miles are logged by our bus drivers collectively. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
You think about that for a moment. I mean, that's a lot of laps around the earth. If you want to really, kind of get a visual of what that looks like. Hey, let's talk about some data celebrations that have recently been released. Test scores. And I know you and I have talked about this recently as well. Very encouraging. And I know you were very excited with some information that was recently shared. For those that may not be aware, just kind of give us kind of a review of some things that Dr. Jennifer Cawthorn had shared. She is our testing and accountability supervisor as well, but some things that you were very encouraged to hear recently.
Well, we do all this testing,
yeah,
and we do a lot of it. And I'm not against testing. I have my beliefs about what maybe we could make it better, but that's above my pay grade. So, it's a big part of what we do is having accountability in our schools to see what our kids are learning and at what pace. Mm-hmm. And there's two portions of that. You're going to get achievement, which is basically when a child takes that state test, what's the result? Were they proficient? And that's the achievement portion. Then there's a portion called the growth portion. And so it comes back in stages, those data results. And we got our achievement back a few weeks ago. It's not embargoed. We can talk about that. And basically, we have the highest achievement level in every grade band in the history of Wilson County schools.
How about that, folks? And how about that?
That is, I mean, really, I've been doing this a long time. It's not uncommon to have areas because every year we have our goals and we put a laser focus on where we need to improve our teaching, our instruction, and our learning. So it's not uncommon to see jumps and to see, but to see that maintenance almost of all areas in all grade bands, it's just tremendous. We've got some schools that are hitting 70% proficiency rate in various grade levels and subject areas. That is really a big deal. And so the next phase is we'll be looking for growth data and see what we got. But we know that based on this achievement data, we had a tremendous year. And I want to thank our teachers. I want to thank our students. I want to thank our parents. Because really, when you look at what we provide students and our responsibilities, our biggest responsibility is to ensure that they are educated to a level that they can be competitive for the rest of their life. Mm-hmm. Whether that's they're going to the workforce, they're going to the military, they're going to college, they're going to be, many of these kids will stay in this community and be business owners. It just builds a stronger community with a better product. And so we're going to celebrate that all year, that we are starting to achieve those levels that where our goals are at. Now, we're still not going to stop. You know, basically, Bart, about 4 years ago, in a planning meeting, I set a bar of I wanted 70% proficiency. And I had some people say, don't you think that's a little bit high? Well, we're starting to see some of those numbers come in. We're not there all the way. Mm-hmm. And so my mentality is maybe we need to raise that to 75% now to keep everybody working toward that goal. And I won't shy away from the competition side. That's one of the things that it does drive me. I like that. I've always liked that. And so I'm really excited. I'm proud of our teachers. I'm proud of our administrators. I'm proud of our academic team. But it takes everybody, including our cafeteria workers, including our bus drivers. You do not achieve these rates of success if you've not got everybody on their A game most days. And that's what we want to try to continue.
Well, that's incredible news for sure. And I know, Carter, again, you being in the high school setting for many years, I mean, data like that is pretty impressive.
Incredible. It's incredible, and it's motivating. And it's something that continues to charge just the professional community around us. You know, the kids don't look at those numbers and go, oh, I'm excited to learn today. But you're right. It's another huge testament to the massive community that Wilson County Schools is. It's not just the ATC trying to push things forward. It's teachers working every day in their classroom with learning as the biggest priority. That's how this happens. It's cafeteria workers, it's educational assistants, it's everybody. It's the secretary in the front office. It's a community, it's a culture that you've helped to build and support across our entire school district that's allowed us to hopefully push that.
Yeah, and continue with that when you even get into the subgroups. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, I've always said, you take those top 10% of the kids, they're going to be fine. Now, the hard part with those top 10% kids is continuing to challenge them, and that's why we do some of the programs we do. But when I went into this data, we're seeing this. Our trend in the last 4 or 5 years is all of our subgroups, some of them have doubled their proficiency level. And that was really satisfying because I do believe that all kids can learn. Mm-hmm. It may be a little different rate. It may look a little different for some students, but all kids can learn. And you know, we've just got I've got a mindset, we're not ever going to give up on a kid. And it's one of the things that when you look at some of this, sometimes it's disappointing to see a child or a family that does not achieve like they want to. That's where it's so important to have an environment that really picks that child up. It says, well, it's okay because you do these things. We're going to have things in place, programs in place, structures in place that we're really going to continue on with you in your journey to make sure that you start moving in the right direction. And we do that here. And again, it just speaks volumes to everybody that's involved because it takes a whole community to achieve this.
Do you ever stop and think in a given school day how many parts and pieces, meaning people, it takes to make this engine just go down with the strong momentum with the information that you've just shared? What it takes, how many people are involved to make this happen, and it's unreal.
Yeah, it's almost 3,000.
Right.
And you know, so it does, and I don't think that, you know, the headlines don't show that behind the scenes
right.
of what it takes. But I do know, and I do appreciate all the work, and even our parents. Our parents are tremendous in supporting what we ask of our students, and so you know, I just look forward to watching this continue because I think it's a result of things that have been put in place and processes and procedures and programs and really just ideas. You know, I really believe that the whole key to education is in the classroom. It's with the teacher. And hopefully we're developing that culture where our teachers know we're going to support them. Now, there's things we have to do that are mandates, but overall, we have found a niche kind of to where we can get these kind of results, and we just want that to continue.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, the appreciation across the board. I mean, educators, administrators, EAs, all staff members, our maintenance team. I mean, even just everyone. It just takes everybody.
And I think one of the hard things, you know, as we sit here and have this conversation, is we want to make sure we recognize everybody, but that's impossible.
Well,
trying to go through that checklist of every person that's involved, it's so huge.
Yeah,
it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah,
and it would just be impossible.
And I think this too is worth mentioning that, you know, even with that, we're still not perfect.
Right.
And you know, I kind of have that expectation with understanding we're not going to be perfect. We're going to strive every day. And when we fall short, and we will fall short because we're humans, we just need to know that and to make the corrective action to eliminate those kind of mistakes that sometimes we make. And we do make mistakes. So I think our parents are starting to realize, you know, I have basically an open door policy. I'll take the criticism because sometimes we deserve it. But overall, when you kind of put the bow on the package and then you take the bow off, we're getting a good product out of Wilson County Schools.
The one thing I've always known about Mr. Luttrell and knowing him and him, you know, obviously being the director of schools, is that he is exactly the person that is on this podcast right now. He doesn't admit that we are perfect. He has that open door policy, and if you don't believe him, then give it a try. Shoot him a message, and he will. And he's very responsive, but he's very transparent. You know, he's very transparent on all of that, and that's important for families who have been with us for a long time, brand new families who are joining us from near or far away, where they've come from a situation or another place. The goal is to know that, hey, you are welcome here, and we're going to keep you informed. And sometimes it takes some effort on their ends to locate that information, to, you know, either watch board meetings or director's report or stay in tune to updates that I would give out or email out or whatever. But large in part, I do believe families are really interested in what's going on in their child's school district. Sure. I do believe that.
Yeah. And I just encourage everyone. Communication is so key. Reach out to your principals. You know, this model goes all the way down. I want my principals to be very transparent, and I believe they are. But we don't want anybody left out,
right?
And we don't want anybody to feel like they've been left out. And so sometimes that means just really just getting in a room or getting on the phone and having a conversation. And
This episode is brought to you by Gina and Lena, your trusted real estate team with Coldwell Banker Southern Realty, with over 30 years of combined experience and a background as former teachers with Wilson County Schools. Gina and Lena bring unmatched dedication, communication, and care to every client. Whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring your options, they'll guide you with the heart of a teacher and the knowledge of seasoned professionals. I've met these ladies before, and they are fantastic.
They're incredible.
They're awesome. They're great. So if you have any of those needs, reach out to them, give them a call, and they will help you out. A policy that did go into effect, initiated by Governor Lee earlier this year, and then it was up to the LEAs to create their own policy inside our schools concerning. It says, mobile communication devices, not just limited to cell phones. That includes smartwatches and different things. Mr. Luttrell, policy was created right before the start of school. We sent that information out to everyone, and it's a policy we feel comfortable with. Carter, I think you would agree. We talked about it, I believe, briefly on the last episode, but it's something that I believe that the teachers and administrators have welcomed. I know that in how that policy was created, it's something that you felt good about too. But again, during that instructional time, mobile communication devices put away. We're just over a weekend of school. Have you got any feedback on how that's going? I really haven't heard anything. I guess, and I don't know if negative's the word, but I just haven't heard much about it being a huge issue.
It's not been. In fact, I've not heard anything about it. Yeah. And I think the reason why is many of our schools have been doing something similar to this policy.
It wasn't brand new largely. So,
and that gets back to, they put it into legislation, and I really didn't have an opinion. Most of the time I've got a lot of opinion on legislation. But on that one I didn't, because for years, we've been there before in this county with we used to have an absolute no phone policy. I think that's evolved, though. I was a part of that as a principal. But here's what I believe. That teacher and that administrator of that building has to have the ability to protect that instruction time. And I think they've always had that. And so we've had things in place where, there's schools the last couple of years that had already started doing some of this. And I think that's why we've not heard anything about it. And I think it's a testament that overall our parents recognize when that kid's in there in front of that teacher, they want them learning.
Exactly.
And they want that teacher teaching.
That's important.
And that's very important. So that's, there was a lot of talk statewide about that, but I think it's something we were already doing to some degree. This just kind of tied it up a little bit, and business as usual in Wilson County Schools.
Carter, let's have some fun with Mr. Luttrell here on the some quick fire questions to wrap things up, and I'll give you honors on this, and I may chime in if need be.
We may ask you some.
Oh, okay. So, okay, here we go. We've got looks like 5 questions here with Mr. Luttrell, and so here we go.
The hope for some of this podcast is for it to be formal and informal, for us to allow our community to see a little bit of us as people. They see
as
us
parents, as what are we like away from from our jobs and different things and a lot of stuff.
We shared some kindergarten moments yesterday. That was
exactly
that was exciting. So
all of my feelings. Oh my goodness.
Still am. So just some easy questions for you, to get a little bit of an idea of who Mr. Luttrell is. So Adair, favorite cafeteria food growing up?
Yeah.
Oh, the pepperoni pizza, the square block pizza.
Yes.
Loved it.
Yes. Rectangle
Still
pizza.
like it.
See, folks, he's one of us.
Oh, it's hard to forget rectangle pizza.
That's right.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I thought I saw it in Costco the other day. If you could swap jobs with anyone in the school district for one day, who would it be?
That's a good question. I'm real big about reality and facing reality. I would love to be Bart, but I realize I can't be, so I'll just stay in the job I'm in.
No. Hey, time out. A little interjection here. This is most people don't know. Look. when it comes wintertime, both Mr. Luttrell and I are just weather nerds. We look at charts, graphs, models. We're talking about models that go out like over 300-400 hours. And we're all about a fantasy snowstorm that doesn't really come to fruition, you know? Oh, but about a week out, he's saying, you see what I'm seeing? I'm like, oh, I'm all over it. I see what you're seeing. But not getting too excited, okay? Now, if it gets within 5 days, boy, I'm telling you, we start to see it come into play, and local meteorologists are talking about it. And then within 3 days, Mr. Luttrell will call me in his office and say, what are you thinking? I'm saying, well, she's coming. She's coming, and it could be a little ice, a little snow. We've had some good storms, some winter storms in recent years. But Mr. Luttrell, at the end of the day, is a kid at heart when it comes to snow. And will you go ahead and make that public profession now and get that out of the way? You love snow.
I do like it, but in this role, it's a little bit different because now it's serious, and we do have to be concerned of the safety. But yes, to me, there's nothing more beautiful than looking out the window in the morning and seeing 3 to 4 or 5 inches of snow. I like to watch it fall. I have a hard time sleeping, waiting on it to fall. And I can't help that.
Yeah, and then when he relays the information to me to make the call, oh boy, it's so wonderful. I love it. Let me say this, folks, and it's just what Mr. Luttrell just said. We understand entirely that snow day cancellations are not the best news for everyone, because there are people who have high demand jobs where they still have to go to work. But again, at the end of the day, it's all about safety for everyone involved in our district, for staff, for students, bus drivers, anyone who would have to ride a piece of transportation or transport themselves on any roads anywhere in the county. We have employees that come from other counties as well. So you have to take that in consideration too. So there's a lot that goes into it. We never just cancel school just because, hey, why don't we just cancel? There's always a reason. And I try to do the best to inform people of what that reason is. It may not be a 3 or 4 inch snow.
That's right.
But it's something of concern that we feel that is not worth the risk.
That's right. And you know, a lot of people, they think Bart makes the call. But I'm the one that has to make the call. And I found out real quick when I first took this job, you'd be in those meetings and, you know, what's everybody think? Everybody thinks a lot of things, but nobody will go out there and say what. So I have to make the call. Yeah. And I do understand it. It does, as much as we like it and kids like it, it does it's a burden on families. Mm-hmm. And I recognize that. But on the flip side of that, we have the days built in because we go extra every day. And I'm going to err on safety of students and bus drivers and teachers every single time.
Every time.
Well, and 12,000 kids on a bus? Is that what yeah. That's a ton.
That's a ton. And that's just half the equation, and an important part of the equation, no doubt. But we're talking over nearly 21,000 students. And when you include parents, guardians, grandparents, whoever's in charge of transporting a child to school or picking that child up, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, so. You're right. You're right. And not every road looks like Mount Juliet Road.
No,
I think you've got the Watertown T-shirt.
The Watertown. There can be some pesky roads out there, but again, we are a unified school district. We get that a lot from especially newer families. Hey, Mount Juliet, Lebanon looks great. Why can't we go to school? And maybe Watertown, it doesn't work like that. We all go. We're all together, all for one for all, unified school district. And that includes areas of the county, 600 square miles to Wilson County. Some areas just take a while to thaw out. So,
yeah. All right, next question. Wilson County Schools talent show. What's your talent going to be?
I don't know that I have a talent, but to be honest, I try to avoid those type of situations. I don't know. Maybe storytelling. Is that a talent?
That's a talent.
He tells some good stories. Oh, he does. He has some great stories. I would agree with that. Could you still hit a baseball?
No, I never hit a baseball very good. I was a pitcher. So.
Okay. I don't know. You had a 404 batting average in high school, according to Dare County Athletics. But that'd be interesting. I'd like to see you get in front of a pitching machine.
Yeah. All right. Number 4. If you could learn an instrument, what would it be?
Probably a mandolin.
Okay.
I enjoy bluegrass, and
Yeah.
I like people that can really. I'm amazed to watch people with a mandolin in their hand and that they're really good at it. So that's probably what I would want to learn.
I hear it. Yeah, nice. You're always on the go. Your car, your vehicle's in and out of this campus all the time. What's playing in your car as you're going from school to school, meeting to meeting?
Depends on the time of the day. Most time it's a talk radio of some sort. I try to listen to all types of media outlets and news outlets. Big fan of Coleman and Company in the morning on the local radio station. It he brings in speakers, and it gives me a chance to keep up with what's going on. And other than that, sports talk a little bit. But if it's none of that's on, it's probably going to be outlaw country.
And again, one of the places as we kind of close this out where Mr. Luttrell finds a lot of peace and solace in his life is that he does tend to some cattle, correct?
I do.
And he does that. He likes to be out doing a little bit of farming when he's not here. But I think that's a great place to really, I don't know, collect your thoughts. You got to work hard in that area too, but you've been no stranger and not shied away from that for much of your life. But I think when you find that peace kind of out there, with cattle and farm life, maybe some things can be revealed. You can kind of think things over a little bit more in a quieter setting.
I grew up on a farm and really worked so hard to get off the farm. So I wanted to go to school and receive my education. And several years ago, I went back and bought a farm and sold that one, then bought a larger farm. And you're right. I'm not sure I'm making any money at it, as my wife can attest to. But there's a lot of times that I'm on that farm doing farm work, whether it's on a tractor or working on a fence. But I'm thinking about Wilson County Schools and all the stakeholders and what we need to do and what we can do to try to improve.
Well, thank you for all you do. Carter, you anything as we kind of close things out here?
No, just thanks for joining us. This has been let's see, what did we do last time? 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
It's just, we've gone closer to 40, 45 minutes, but it went by fast. And folks, if you've listened to this, I think you would agree it's gone by pretty fast as well. Again, Mr. Luttrell, we know you have a busy day ahead, and thank you for your time and your efforts. Thank you for all you do. Again, he has shared with you openly that he's concerned about anything that's on your mind. If you have concerns, obviously address those with your teacher, administrator, but he also has that open door policy, open messaging policy. If you want to reach out to him, feel free to do that. So,
thank you.
All right, that is going to do it for Wilson Live Episode 2. As Mr. Jeff Luttrell, our Director of Schools, has been our guest. Carter Noblin, our Coordinator of Fine Arts in Wilson County Schools. Thank you for all you do to help get this podcast off the ground.
I'm just glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to be here as well. Bart Barker, Public Information Officer with Wilson County Schools, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Wilson Live.